Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines ready to provide you a number of informations from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. The government, through the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, received a grant from Japan worth 704 billion rupiah. The grant will be used for integrated fisheries development in 6 outer islands in Indonesia.
The government, through the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, received a grant from the Japanese government through Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. The grant is worth around 5.5 billion yen, or equivalent to 704 billion rupiah. Bilateral cooperation framework managed by Indonesia and Japan has clinched agreement for integrated fisheries development in 6 outer islands in Indonesia. A grant from Japan International Cooperation Agency is in the form of Maritime and Fisheries Center Development Corporations, which is to strengthen upstream to downstream fisheries infrastructure. Secretary General of the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, Antam November, said that this grant has no string attached, meaning that the payment is not like a debt installment.
Negara Indonesia melalui KKP mendapatkan hibah sebesar 5,5 miliar yen, setara dengan 704 miliar rupiah. Ini hibah tanpa ikatan, dalam arti bukan hibah harus dibayar, dicicil, tidak, bukan hutang, ini hibah secara langsung. Dan baru pertama kali di Indonesia hibah ini ditransfer langsung ke Kementerian Kementerian KKP. Ini baru pertama kali.
The 6 regions that received the grant include Tatuna, Moratai, Sabang, Saumlaki, Moa, and Biak. Development will be planned to build upstream to downstream fisheries infrastructure so that the fisheries sectors in area can develop. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
The Indonesian Workers' Confederation, or KSPI, hopes that the government will continue the salary subsidy program for workers. KSPI believes if the program is terminated, the purchasing power of workers will certainly decline and will have a negative impact on national economic growth.
The Indonesian Workers' Confederation, or KSPI, asked the government to continue the salary subsidy program, because the salary subsidy program for workers has a positive impact on the purchasing power of workers amid the crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Vice President of KSPI, Iswan Abdullah, said that if the salary subsidy program for workers is not continued, it is certain that the purchasing power of workers will decrease, and this can lower the national economic growth target.
Kalaulah pemerintah tiba-tiba berencana untuk mencabut subsidi, maka sudah bisa dipastikan daya beli buruh akan turun. Kalau BLT dicabut, sudah bisa dipastikan asumsi, proyeksi super optimis dari pemerintah bahwa pertumbuhan ekonomi tahun 2021 menjadi isapan jempol.
Iswan added that the Indonesian Workers' Confederation, or KSPI, is trying to encourage the government to continue the salary subsidy program, and at the same time helps the government to issue regulations that apply to business actors not to easily conduct layoff amid the COVID-19 pandemic. From Jakarta, Ricky Anwardi for IDX Channel.
The government, through the Ministry of Manpower, ensures that salary subsidy for workers with salaries below 5 billion rupiah will not continue in 2021. This is confirmed by the Minister of Manpower because the salary subsidy budget is not included in the 2021 state budget.
The Ministry of Manpower ensures that salary subsidies for workers with salaries below 5 million rupiah will not be continued in 2021. In her presentation, the Minister of Manpower, Ida Fauzia, said that the salary subsidy program is not included in the 2021 state budget.
Kami masih menunggu sementara, memang di APBN 2021 belum atau tidak dialokasikan. Nanti kami melihat bagaimana kondisi ekonomi berikutnya, tapi memang tidak dialokasikan di APBN 2021.
Previously, in 2020, the Ministry of Manpower had distributed a salary subsidy program of 29.4 trillion rupiah. In detail, the first stage of the salary subsidy had been distributed to 12.3 million people, with the realization of the budget reaching 14.7 trillion rupiah, while the second stage had been distributed to 12.3 million people, with the realization of the budget reaching 14.6 trillion rupiah. Based on data from the Ministry of Manpower, the average salary of workers is 3.12 million rupiah per month, and the total number of companies whose workers receive wage subsidy assistance is 413,649 companies. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Saya Prisa Samodatu membawakan program berita News Screen yang menghadirkan informasi seputar ekonomi maupun juga bisnis dari dalam negeri.
Ya, Wall Street memulai 2021 dengan aksi jual di mana salah satu indeks utamanya yakni Dow Jones melemah 1,25%. Ya, indeks harga saham gabungan naik signifikan pemirsa. Kita akan mencoba menganalisis beberapa sentimen isu.
Proyeksikan bahwa perdagangan kita masih ada potensi untuk menguat. Ya.
Akankah menjadi sentimen yang positif yang ikut mendorong juga?
Biasanya sangat kuat gitu mempengaruhi bursa saham kita ya.
Ya.
Ya, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan telah resmi menerbitkan belit yang mengatur modal inti minimum bank. Dengan penerbitan aturan ini,
bank ini heavily regulated, Mas. Jadi bank itu nggak bisa pindah tangan begitu saja, harus approval oleh OJK. Jadi
Menteri Keuangan Sri Mulyani Indrawati mengatakan bahwa industri keuangan syariah tumbuh mengesankan.
Di masa pandemi ini kita masih bisa bertahan dan bahkan menunjukkan kinerja yang sangat baik.
Welcome back. Government will soon form a holding to manage the electric vehicle battery industry from upstream to downstream. The holding will be called as Indonesia Battery Corporation, and it will be done in the first semester of 2021.
The Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises targets Indonesia Battery Corporation will be completed in the first half of the year. The establishment is to manage the electric vehicle battery industry from upstream to downstream. The timeline for the formations of the electric vehicle battery holding has been agreed upon 4 members. There are namely Mining Holding, the Mining ID, and also Aneka Tambang, Pertamina, and National State Electricity Company or PLN. Under the IBC holding, there will be joint ventures. Currently, government opens to cooperate with global companies from China, Korea, the United States, and Europe. But not all companies can be involved in the joint ventures. There are 3 main criteria for recruiting these potential partners. Namely, it can bring money or investment, bring technology, and bring the market. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Yes, our favorite things in the world is basically has nickel inside of it. You name it, smartphones, laptop, watch, and others need battery to run those things. Rechargeable batteries are made of nickel, efficient material and chemically sealed to prevent battery leakage from crusting up your electronics. But then the demand is rising because the global society is investing on go green vehicles that need battery inside of it. Thus, nickel is making a vital contribution to the lithium-ion batteries that power much of the electric vehicle revolution. This would economically benefit countries that have nickel more than countries in the world. So which countries? Let's see on the next graphic. This is nickel reserves in the world. Indonesia has 21 million tons, Australia 19 million tons, Brazil 11 million tons, Russia 7.6 million tons, and Cuba 5.5 million tons. The nickel market is a $20 billion per year industry. Having the world's largest nickel reserves, Indonesia has the basic capital to become a market leader in the field. The impact of this future automotive industry on our economy would obviously be significant. Lithium-ion battery production is expected to increase significantly in order to meet the demands of the growing electric vehicle fleet worldwide. And nickel is making a vital contribution to the lithium-ion batteries. Therefore, many worldwide large manufacturers that need extra nickel. In the next graphic, I will show you some of the largest global lithium-ion battery manufacturers. The first one is CATL or CATL, 307 gigawatt-hour in 2028. LG Chem, 237. Tesla, 135 gigawatt-hour in 2028, BYD, 112 gigawatt-hours in 2028, and Samsung, 94 gigawatt-hour in 2028. Global battery demand for electric mobility is forecasted to increase from 142 gigawatt-hours in 2018 to 2,333 gigawatt-hours in 2030. In the upcoming 5 years, the global lithium-ion battery market is expected to double in size, reaching $71 billion by 2025. Again, nickel is making a vital contribution to the lithium-ion batteries. Means more batteries, more nickel. And luckily, Indonesia has tons of it. Let's deep dive into LG Chem. The ancillary company from the LG Group conglomerate is committed to investing capital amounting to a total of $9.8 billion or around 142 trillion rupiah to establish an integrated lithium battery production center here in Indonesia. Huge number, right? But then not only LG Chem that sees Indonesia as potential partner, Tesla Incorporated also hope to touch base with Indonesia. However, Tesla just bailed out the promise of being Indonesia by January 2021. The United States electric car manufacturer Tesla reportedly cancelled his visit to Indonesia to discuss investment opportunities. This is because of Indonesia's restrictions on the arrival of foreign citizens. But the government emphasized that the Tesla team had only postponed its arrival to Indonesia. Tesla is still waiting for the regulation on foreign visit restrictions to be lifted. Then we'll further discuss about the deal. And still, there are many companies that wish to be Indonesia's partner in electric vehicle investments. This is because Indonesia is very rich of electric vehicle main raw materials. That validation comes from head of the Electric Vehicle Project Acceleration Team National Battery. Let's see the complete statement in the next graphic. This is the statement of Agus Cahayana Wirakusuma, head of Electric Vehicle Project Acceleration Team National Battery. He said that Indonesia has several main raw materials for making EV batteries such as nickel, aluminum, manganese, cobalt. For nickel, Indonesia has 30% of the world's nickel reserves. In short, not only nickel, Indonesia also has other important battery component materials. Let's see the composition in the next graphic. This is Indonesia's main raw materials for electric vehicle. Nickel, 21 million tons. Aluminum, 1.2 billion tons. Copper, 51 billion tons. And manganese, 43 billion tons. The timeline for the formation of electric vehicle battery holding has been agreed upon by 4 members. There are namely Mining Holding, which is Mine ID, Aneka Tambang, Pertamina, and National State Electricity Company, or PLN. Under the IBC Holding, there will be joint ventures, but not all companies can be involved in joint ventures. There are 3 main criteria for recruiting these potential partners. Namely, it can bring money or investment, bring technology, and bring the market. And indeed, Indonesia is blessed with tons of raw material for making electric car batteries. We hope that Indonesia can drill down into electric vehicle battery industry further and be the market leader in this field. Stay tuned on Market Line because we'll be right back after the break.
Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif telah menyiapkan 3 program yang menjadi langkah awal untuk membangkitkan pariwisata di tahun 2021.
Pemerintah menegaskan bahwa di awal tahun 2021 ini tetap fokus pada aspek kesehatan masyarakat.
Kita melihat bahwa tren positif itu terjadi karena pertumbuhan kuartal ke kuartal itu sudah di 5,05%.
Pemerintah memastikan akan mengubah bantuan sosial di wilayah Jabodetabek dari skema bantuan sembako menjadi bantuan langsung tunai.
We're in the last segment at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,096.58, and approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on the level of 6,123.73. Then the index was showing a strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,077.74. In short, JCI went up 0.56%. And next, we are going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got Miss Industry as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 2.66%. Consumer goods went up 1.29%. And we got mining as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 1.33%. Basic industry went down 0.95%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Breeze went up 5.36% to the level of 2,750 per share. BBNI went up 6.78% to the level of 6,300 per share. BBRI went up 0.46% to the level of 4,380 per share. Pegas went up 1.02% to the level of 1,485 per share. And this is top losers for today's trading. We got ANTM went down 3.72% to the level of 2,330 rupiah per share. Tins went down 1.31% to the level of 1,885 rupiah per share. The BIG went down 6.75% to the level of 2,350 rupiah per share. And Telkom went down 0.93% to the level of 3,240 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,017. Rupiah was also showing a weakening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 13,976. In summary, Rupiah went down 0.09%. Moving on to capital market news coverage. After going public, chicken producer company Widodo Makmur Unggas aims to be the largest supplier of animal protein-based food products in Southeast Asia. Chicken producer company Widodo Makmur Unggas is now listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange. The company plans to use 74.3% of the IPO funds to expand its facilities, including slaughterhouses, farms, and storage warehouses. The remaining 25.7% is to be used as working capital to buy live chickens and chicken feed. By strong capital, Widodo Makmur Unggas aims to be the largest supplier of animal protein-based food products in Southeast Asia.
PT Widodo Makmur Unggas Tbk memiliki tujuan untuk menjadi pemasok produk pangan berbasis protein hewani terbesar di Asia Tenggara.
Listed company Harum Energy acquired stocks from nickel company. This time, the company acquired 51% stocks from PT position owned by Aquila Nickel or PTE Ltd.
Harum Energy subsidiary Tarito Harum Nickel acquired 24,287 shares of PT position owned by Aquila Nickel PTE Ltd. The stock is equivalent to 51% of the issued capital in PT position, worth $80.32 million. PT position is a limited liability company established under Indonesian law and has a mining business license for nickel commodities. President Director of Harum Energy, Ray Antonio Gunara, said that the purpose of the transactions is to develop and expand business activities in the mining sector. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Finally, Wijaya Karya has paid off the famous rupiah-denominated global bond, Komodo bond, worth 5.4 trillion rupiah.
Throwback to the day Wijaya Karya issued rupiah-denominated global bonds on the London Stock Exchange International Securities Market in 2018. At that time, Wika's Komodo bond received a request of 2.5 times, which was oversubscribed. Now, Wijaya Karya has paid off the famous rupiah-denominated global bond, Komodo bond, worth 5.4 trillion rupiah. The profile of global investors who are interested in Wika's Komodo bonds is 67% from Asia, 13% from Europe and Middle East, and also 10% from United States and 10% from domestic investors from Indonesia. Wijaya Karya's finance director Ade Wahyu said that the successful settlement of the Komodo bonds was supported by several aspects, which are healthy corporate finances, public confidence in bond issuance, and support from financial institutions. From all sources, IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. Here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business and capital market channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.